Welcome to the United Board. Subscribe, like, and share to keep updated. And on that note, it's transfers for Man United that I need to talk about right now, of course, because Joshua Zirkzee, apparently, Juventus are interested in him for a swap deal for Dusan Vlahovic. And this is an interesting one because look, obviously Zirkzee hasn't worked since he's come here. He's had a tough time. You know, the treatment of him against Newcastle was really poor. The booming of him in the stadium and stuff like that was particularly bad. He's having a really rough time. His confidence is on the floor and you don't want to write players off in the first season as well. That's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to start getting into, they're done already and it's tough. He's coming to a new league, new country, new team where look at our team as well, managers changed as well, so there's a lot that doesn't go in his favor of what makes it, quite difficult for him. But the early signs aren't good. He's struggling to go with the pace of the game. His touch is not there. He's not driving at players. He just doesn't look confident at all, and I think he'll be better suited. Back in Italy, personally, I think he'll work perfectly well at Juventus. I think he's a talented boy, but I don't see him working in the Premier League. It is early. I like to give people at least a season to be able to judge. So, I'd be disappointed if we cashed in this early. But if Amram's made his mind up and isn't using him and doesn't think that he's going to be the right fit, we have to start undoing stuff. We have to be ruthless. They ain't got time for sentiment. But here's my thing. Replacing him with Vlahovic, though, I'm not sure. I'm not saying that it's the wrong move to move Joshua Zirkzee on if there's legs in this. Shout out to Crookie from TalkSport who's been reporting this. I'm not saying that it's terrible to move Zirkzee on, but to replace him with Vlahovic, I'm not sure that he's the guy that we think he's been. Or we thought he would be when he went to Juve from what was Fiorentina. I don't know the exact stat. I don't see him tearing it up. The noise coming up from around Vlahovic hasn't been that he's gone to Juve and really tore it up and really gone on to that next level. I remember when Arsenal were chasing him all that time before he went to Juve. I remember watching him at the start of his Juve career and he did quite well and he's got ability. He's strong, he's powerful, he's big, he's got a good strike on him as well. But I just don't feel, I'm just not sure he's going to. I'm not sure that's the type of striker we need. Now listen, if it's a loan to the end of the season for both parties, maybe a swap for both would work. Maybe that would work because Vlahovic, if he needs a fresh amount of scenes and, a new scenery and Joshua's actually having a tough time and look, Motto's obviously a Juve, so he'll be a chance to reconcile with his manager at Bologna, where they did great things last year by getting, I think, in the Champions League. That could fit and maybe you see how it goes, but it's the permanent side of it that's looking a bit ominous. There are reports saying that Man United don't want to loan Joshua, which I would think that they would want a permanent move. And that would be interesting as well, because that would be in the US, admitting their L and being ruthless and moving them on. Look, Joshua also hasn't had that much time as bad as he's been, as much as he struggled. He's only been there since the summer, 6 months is. So it isn't long to fully judge a player. And really under Amram, it's only going to be a couple of months that he's had a chance. But we can see though he's not it. We can see in him. He's not it. The game's passing him by. He's looking like, he's really struggling with the pace with a level that is in this country. But that's not to say he won't improve though. But I just look at him and it is what the type of player he is or the playing style he has. It doesn't fill me with confidence that he's going to cut the mustard and he's going to make it. I don't think he's mobile enough. I don't think he has that intensity in his game. He seems like quite a passive player. Quiet player likes to play at his own pace. And look, if you use him correctly and the pace of the game suits him, I think he can. I think he can be effective. But I just don't think that's going to happen here. But it's all about us being ruthless. We have to give Ruben what he needs, and we know we need to get players out in order to get players in. We're not going to be able to spend money unless we get creative, unless we get ruthless as well. And we can't have time for sentiment. We can't have time for it if we think that it's not going to work. And Ruben Amorim had a look at Joshua Zirkzee and gone not for me, and he would like Vlahovic. Because Zirkzee in this system is he can play as a 9, but the 9 situations where we've got big problems because Haaland's not good enough by himself, needs more time. He's not good enough, nowhere near good enough right now. Vlahovic is obviously a lot more experience. He is powerful. I'm not going to say rapid, but he's quick enough. But I'm just not sure. You know what? It just feels like someone's stock's falling. You can't listen. You can't say definitively. I'm not going to sit here and say 100% like that move will not work, but there's just something about it that doesn't feel right. I want you guys to let me know as well in the chat because I can't put my finger on it. It just doesn't feel like maybe it's because of the hype that Vlahovic's had. When he made that move to Juve, it feels like he's fallen short of that. But it's no different to, Matthias de Ligt, had a lot of hype when he went to Bayern, the misconceptions of how terrible he was and he was awful and this, that and the other weren't entirely true. Now listen, I don't watch Juventus, minutes every league game. I don't watch Vlahovic week in, week out in Serie A. So it is probably a little bit unfair for me to completely write him off, so I won't do that. But at the same time, there's just something about that name. I don't know, it just doesn't feel like the right move. But you never know. We have to speculate to accumulate and we have to be ruthless. We have to try things. And if Ruben Amorim decides that that's the guy, then then so be it. But I also have to think of the summer as well. Is this going to be a short-term fixed game? Vlahovic is, like I said, on a loan for loan like a swap just to the end of the season because both players are a bit out of sorts potentially, or, do we do this permanently now and invest heavily into Vlahovic? If Rashford leaves and there's money there, I don't think we should spend that money on Vlahovic. But then again, if you get Zirkzee out the door for a fee, we paid 50 million for him. Is that enough to get Vlahovic at this stage? I don't think it is. He surely is going to be more than that. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm out of here. Peace.